I do not support corruption.
Thank you, Debbie, for that wonderful introduction and for your artful mastery of the ceremony. Archbishop, thank you so much for blessing this event and for the personal blessings that you offered to me. Minister Hill, and I'm not seeing Minister Malahoo Fort, is worship the Mayor, Michael Belnavis. Just as a side note, a bed is not a trampoline. Our newly minted Member of Parliament, Mr. Matthew Samuda, Mr. Dr. Kenneth Russell, someone who I've known for many years. I welcome you to the political arena, sir, and may you stay in your seat as you are. Mr. Felix Simon, Vice President of the Unicommer Group, and Mr. Errol LeBlanc, Mrs. Nordia Leslie, Store Manager, Executive Heads of public bodies who may be here, and members of the private sector who are here, and other stakeholders, representatives of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is still morning. Good morning. It is truly a pleasure for me to be here with you today as we celebrate this significant milestone in the life of Courts Jamaica and our nation's economic journey. First and foremost, I want to express my deepest appreciation to Courts for their continued investment in Jamaica. Congratulations on your 65th anniversary and on opening your 30th store in Jamaica. It is remarkable to witness how far Courts has come, evolving from a single store to becoming a household name synonymous with quality and reliability across the island. Your commitment to our people and our economy is invaluable, and we thank you for your unwavering confidence in Jamaica. The Unicommer Group is, with this massive investment here, a major investor in Jamaica, a major contributor to the FDI, the foreign direct investment of Jamaica. And your decision to expand by establishing this beautiful new store here in Drax Hall is a testament to your confidence in Jamaica's future and a signal of the vast opportunities for investors, entrepreneurs, and the people of this region. Debbie opined that it is just amazing to see the expansion of the Drax Hall area in just such a short period of time. I would venture to say that the expansion took place within the last 8 years. And I would not be incorrect. I draw no other parallel, but obviously you have. It coincides, of course, with the 2 terms of this administration. It is no coincidence why it has happened. This is now a commercial hub, without question. This area is now a commercial hub, strategically located along the north coast and benefiting from its proximity to the highway. The area has attracted international brands along with a growing number of local enterprises. This influx of investment has triggered a construction boom and positioned Drax Hall as an ideal location for business expansion. The ripple effects of this growth are being felt in new employment and businesses being developed, as well as improved access to goods and services, all of which contribute to an improved quality of life of residents. As St. Ann continues to grow, we know St. Ann for its vibrant tourism. I believe it was the mayor who said, St. Ann is known as the capital of entertainment. We take great pride in Dunn's River. It's the capital of attractions as well. But Drax Hall is now showing another dimension of the richness of the parish. You are now developing a commercial hub. And it is important that that point be made, that the Jamaican economy can be much more than tourism. And we're not going to hit tourism. Tourism is still the main plank of our foreign exchange earnings, and still the main catalytic attraction for FDIs. In 2023, Jamaica attracted $431 million in foreign direct investment, which represents a notable, as you had mentioned, Minister, 35% increase from the 319 million which we attracted in 2022. This is a recovery, and it underscores the strength of the Jamaican economy to recover so quickly its foreign direct investment from the pandemic. Sectors such as tourism, outsourcing, and information technology were major drivers of this growth, with tourism accounting for $180 million of that foreign investment, and the global outsourcing services accounting for $140.5 million. So you see, those two industries, along with bauxite, account for a large part of our foreign exchange earning. But as we look to the future, and I want to latch on to something that Mr. LeBlanc mentioned. He said, this store is about serving the aspirations of the Jamaican people. There is a sense in Jamaica that somehow we mustn't aspire, that we must not appreciate the driving urge inside of us to achieve better. There is a sense sometimes that when you give a big vision, people want to pour cold water on it. It can't be achieved. It's not worthwhile trying to speak about these grand things. The sense is, just look for the common things. Just deal with the small things. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to meet with the head of the IFC, the financial arm of the World Bank. He is from Africa, I believe Sierra Leone, if I'm not mistaken, or Senegal, Senegal. And he was a former finance minister. And we were having a great chat, myself, himself, and Minister Clark. And he was telling us what experience he had when he was just becoming Minister of Finance in Senegal. I believe it's Senegal. And he said he's a simple man. He went without security. He went into one of the hotels and he sat and he ordered, and he noticed that all the waiters were gathering, conferring amongst themselves as to whether or not he was the finance minister. And they were saying, no, he couldn't be the finance minister. He has no security around him. It couldn't be. So when they were carrying his order, a few of them went up to him and they asked him, are you the finance minister? And he said, yes. And then they started to tell him of all the problems they were having and experiencing and what they would like to see. So he started to tell them, but look, we have brought down inflation. We have stabilized the exchange rate. We have reduced the debt. We are giving tax breaks. And he said, one of the waiters looked at him and said, but we can't eat that, sir. I was floored. I was floored because I have had the exact same experience. Maybe not waiters coming over, but the same discussion regarding the achievements, the aspirational achievements of the country and the value to the common person. A big disconnect. Of course, we started on a philosophical discussion after that. How do we connect these important, we call them macroeconomic variables, to the urgent needs of the people? And how do we get the people of the country to understand that without correcting these macroeconomic, they sound like big things outside of our understanding. But if you don't get these things right, all the other things that you complain about, you won't get them right. And what you will end up on is a cycle of unfulfilled promises. Because populist leaders will come and tell you, yeah, we're going to fix all your problems today, without any reference to the economy. And then they get disappointed. Our country, our electorate has been on that road several times, which accounts for the lack of trust that people have in politicians, because we have all given in to populist politics, because we refuse to believe that the laws of economics are as immutable as the laws of physics. So I go back to your point about aspirations. This store is an aspirational store. You mentioned something that is almost infra-dig in Jamaican politics. This store is trying to cater to the middle class. You are not going to build a society until you are able to lift people out of poverty and into the middle class. For many years, the philosophical outlook of the country was, we love the poor. But it was hollow because it never did anything to lift anyone out of poverty. It was never aspirational. It was pitiful, that's what it was. This administration is aspirational, and we are not ashamed or abashed in saying we want to lift people out of poverty, to help people to fulfill their aspirations. Simply put, we want people to step up in a life. And if it means that stepping up to prosperity is, you used to have a one-burner kerosene stove, now you can buy a 4-burner gas stove, you can buy a bigger fridge. If that is what prosperity means to you, but we would hope that it would mean that you can send your children to school easier. they can get a better education. You can add on another room on your house. It's the aspiration. And I want all Jamaicans not to be afraid of being aspirational, but to understand that those aspirations cannot be fulfilled without having a solid economy. So, what is going to happen here at Drax Hall? Let's put Drax Hall into context. There is the town of Ocho Rios. Ocho Rios is both the tourist capital of the parish, but it is also the commercial hub of the parish, and it is also part residential, and it also does a lot of what you call the back of house operations. So Ocho Rios is really a knot. It's very difficult to navigate, a lot of traffic, very small roads, and it's very difficult to have tourism, commerce, manufacturing, back of office operations, all in one space. Doesn't work. So what the residents of Ocho Rios feel is the dysfunction of the town. Then, of course, you have St. Anne's Bay, the capital and the historic capital of the town. Again, a buzz of commerce, but also historical and important buildings there. Naturally, what has occurred here is that as new housing developments started to be built and a new consumer is emerging, more aspirational and really frustrated with how can I navigate the public space in Ocho Rios and in St. Anne's Bay. I need a space that reflects who I am and what I aspire to. Efficiency, convenience, safety, transparency and openness, logical and clean design, modernity. And this space between the two seemed logical. It is a natural process. But that natural process could only happen if people felt safe to invest. So, Mr. Deputy, the Vice President of UNICOMA, I took great note of your nodding. Because we always seem to believe that people come to Jamaica to invest because they like Jamaica. There are 100 other destinations that UNICOMA could go. What is going to make people choose Jamaica? Which the average person will say, but that can yam. That is what is going to enable you to eat. When UNICOMA and other investors come here and put down their money and employ you. Think about it. When you look at this strip here, all the investments that have been put down in the last 4 or 5 years, you're looking at several $1 billion of investments. But look a little deeper. How many jobs are here now? Here. Do you realize that 10 years ago we had 13% unemployment? 13. The last report put us at 4.2%. Technically, Jamaica is at what is called full employment. These are facts. And for some people, these facts are uncomfortable because it doesn't accord with the narrative and framework that they would like to see materialize. But the truth is that because of investments like these, we are pulling in more people into the economy. So yes, this nice unemployment number, this unemployment figure might sound distant to you. But this is not the same Jamaica that existed 10 years ago. This is a different Jamaica where more people have income. So one of the attractions to Jamaica for brands like Unicommer is that there are persons here with income who are aspirational, who want to get access to the products that signify a better quality of life. That's why Unicommer is here, opening up this brand new store. But more than that, Unicommer is here because Jamaica is the only country in the Caribbean that has a free floating exchange rate. The only country. Unicommer is here because they don't have to worry about unpredictable tax policy. For the last 9 budgets, there has been no new taxes. So if you're looking for somewhere to invest, this is the perfect place. Employment is expanding, more people have income, exchange rate is stable and free, inflation is on its way down. The public debt has gone down to the lowest it has ever been in 30 years. At the end of this fiscal year, we will be below 70% debt to GDP. All of these that people say, oh, it sounds so good, but by condition. Yes, we cannot ignore that we still have a lot of people who are poor. We cannot ignore that we still have the bad roads that people complain about every day. We cannot ignore the challenges with water. In the recent by-election, when I went into communities, I was confronted by people complaining that they have been without water now for how many decades, and they want their water now. And no matter what I try to explain to them that, yes, we are putting things in place, I want my water now. And I can understand that frustration. Because it's not that they don't have water. It's that they look across at Drax Hall and other communities and say, but look how they are developing and nothing is happening in my community. So, I want to put the two things together. That the development of Drax Hall and the investments that are being here, it is important that this be done so that we get the tax revenues and we get the people employed so that we can then take the dividends from these foreign direct investments that are made and now invest it in the people. And that is a commitment of this government, that as we pursue the economic development and getting the macroeconomic variables right, the dividends from that, rest assured, the dividends from that will be reinvested in the people in tangible ways. That is why we did something like the reverse tax credit, never before in Jamaica's history, where the government is giving back to people who earn less than $3 million per year. Never before happened. That's a way in which we are making sure that the dividends of the good economic management reaches to the people. Yes, good economic management can yam. Don't joke with that. So, we are doing some innovative things. Let me, sorry, forgive me, I departed from my script. Let me. Oh, one other thing I had to mention here. So the road is a problem. The typical challenge of Jamaica is that the natural energy for development oftentimes outstrips and goes in advance of the government's strategic and instrumental development. This is an example of the natural economic energy being unleashed sometimes way in advance of the government's planning. What really should have happened is that the government should build the road and then say to investors, here are the lots divided out and the services. That is what really should have happened. By the way, that is what is happening in St. Thomas. In St. Thomas, we built the road and we are building the urban center at the same time. We are literally, for the first time in how many years, we are literally building a township. Building it out outright. I don't think we have ever built out a township outright. Ocherios may have been the closest, or maybe Negril. Probably Ocherios under Edward Siaga when he had the plan developing the fishing villages and the hotels and so forth. But that was a pre-existing town. This is an entirely new town in the Morant Bay Urban Center that is being built along with a road. For here, we're going to have to do some catch-up. And there are two major projects in place now. The first is the improvement of the North Coast Highway, which is this road here, which will be expanded to a 4-lane road with underpasses and side roads. It will be, yes. The idea is to turn it into, right now what you have is something called a stroad. I don't know if you know what a stroad is. All right? It's a street and a road. All right? They have two different functions. Eh? I mean, the road is like a massive carriageway that carries a lot of traffic, and a street is connecting within an urban defined space. And so because it's doing two functions, it's carrying people from one area to another, this road. So people from Montego Bay heading into Kingston have to use this. But people who live in this area, who would normally use streets and walk and ride, they also have to use that road. So the road can't function. It doesn't function properly. So what you really need here is a boulevard that goes through with your side streets for your local traffic that's managed in terms of speed so that people can traverse as much as possible with stoplights and so forth. So that is being planned. And then we have also opened up negotiations to extend the north-south leg of the highway to take you right into Trelawney. And so both programs are fairly advanced in development, one more than the other. And you will hear more about that in our budget presentation to come next year as to how far we have reached in that plan being actually executed. So in the same way that the Montego Bay bypass is now being developed, well advanced, here we'll also have the proper infrastructure. But more than that, we will put in a development plan. Because what I'm seeing here and the energy here is that you're going to see a redistribution of commercial activity. Persons are going to move out of Ocherios, move out of St. Anne's Bay, and seek to relocate here where commerce and industry and business and light manufacturing is quite easily accessed. And what you're going to find is that Ocherios which we will promote, will become more of a touristic town, where the old charm of the town can be properly enhanced and developed and harnessed for its economic value. And St. Anne's Bay can be properly developed for its historical value, which adds depth to our tourism. So you get both sun, sea, and sand, but you also get culture and history and people. And then the suburbs around this area can get access to the lifestyle that this urban space will create. So that's the overall plan for the parish and for the 3 main urban centers that will be developed here. So I want you to understand that your government isn't just, just sitting not doing anything. Your government is aspirational. We're not dreaming. We're not dreamers. You do, as I said in Parliament the other day, you dream when your eyes are closed. We are visionaries. We are seeing the challenges and we are creating the workable solutions. And so within another 5 years, you're going to see all of that materialize in the same way that you have seen this materialize, and then you look back at it and say, oh, whoa, how fast this happened. In 5 years' time, you're going to say, oh, whoa, how fast it happened. And you're going to see many more investors here. So as we look to the future, we anticipate even greater inflows, particularly, as I've said, in tourism, and that will mean an increase in the hotel rooms along this corridor. But I want to highlight that we have signed an agreement with the IFC. This is when I had the meeting with the head of the IFC who came. It's a $2 billion agreement. And that is to fund this highway that we have discussed, this new road that will become the main boulevard for the urban space of Drax Hall, which is going to be created. It is to fund some water projects and some other infrastructure projects that we see are necessary. In fact, it is to fund 10 major infrastructure projects. The highway is one of them. Another one is the broadband project, because we intend to make Jamaica a digital society. Yes. It will also fund some healthcare projects as well. So we are on track, and I have great confidence that what we are doing will put Jamaica in a better place. So allow me to close off my presentation, and you have been a wonderful audience. Jamaica has made incredible strides over the last 8 years. Our economic growth and stability are no accident. These achievements were made possible by sound policies that encourage business growth, foster infrastructure development, and expand economic activities across the island, including rural areas. My administration views foreign direct investments as essential for our economic development, and over the past 8 years, we have undertaken critical reforms to enhance the investment climate of Jamaica. The truth is that for a number of decades, Jamaica was viewed by investors as high risk. Jamaica was viewed as a high risk destination. While the risk perception may have been exaggerated at times, it was not unfounded in the context of a highly volatile inflation rate, interest rates, and exchange rates, in terms of a high debt to GDP, high unemployment, and unpredictable tax policy. But when you look at the investment environment in Jamaica today relative to the past, it has been completely transformed. Now we have stable inflation, interest rates and exchange rates move within the bounds that are common to even developed countries. We have stability in those key areas. The lowest debt to GDP levels in 30 years. Our debt to GDP on a net basis is already below 60% of GDP. Just 2 weeks ago, rating agency Standard & Poor's revised its outlook on Jamaica from stable to positive. We have record low unemployment, as I said, in the latest Statin report. We are now at 4.2%. We have very predictable tax policy, 9 consecutive budgets, no new taxes. And to add to that, as I've said before, Jamaica is the only country in the region with a freely floating exchange rate. These are not facts that you can challenge. And no matter how you try to make Jamaica look bad.
Loyal viewers and subscribers, honorable people, give thanks for your support to the AVI-NUE. Know that I appreciate you sincerely. New viewers, welcome on board. Know that your presence is appreciated. Please subscribe to the channel and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Thank you. United we win.